Loose Women, the podcast, is brought to you by Mecca Bingo, the home of bingo besties where fun and laughter come together just like best mates.
MeccaBingo.com is the home of legendary bingo. I love being let loose with me dobber.
We all love a win, and the Mecca Prize Promise brings 3 bingo games every day, and everyone who plays wins.
Players must be over 18. Terms and conditions apply. Go to meccabingo.com for details, and please be gamble away.
This episode of Loose Women, the podcast, contains some adult themes, including conversations about sex. Coming up on Loose Women, the podcast.
Have you thought about, I wonder if I could get naked again or something? Because I know it's a really big worry.
You're right in there with that
people.
question, aren't you?
You've got to be straight in.
I hadn't thought about it, but I am now. Thanks for that. Now I've got a house of my own, and I was sitting in it on my own, and I just suddenly had this real feeling of...
I'm on my own.
I'm on my own.
And I just got to a point where I was putting on this, it's fine. And inside I was thinking, I am so lost and I am so overwhelmed and I've completely lost my mojo for anything. I didn't want to do anything.
meccabingo.com, sponsors of Loose Women.
Hello and welcome to Loose Women, the podcast with me, Jane Moore, and what's your name?
Coleen Nolan.
This is the bit we like though, isn't it? Because we get to ask each other questions, some of those little taboo topics that like we can't say on the show.
Yes.
Do a bit of a deep dive.
We love a deep dive. Like this one. Should you ever settle for someone to stop being lonely?
Ooh.
And how do you approach sex with a new partner for the first time?
Wow, sure, you've got lots to say on that.
Haven't you, babes?
I haven't. Hello?
Yeah,
I haven't got there yet.
Well.
But also we're going to talk about your knee injury. You've got a little knee injury. I saw you limping earlier,
yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Great.
But before all of that, so as you know, got divorced last year, sold my house, just moved into my new house last week. Yeah.
Is it fabulous?
And it is fabulous, but it's also quite weird. So I spent most of my, the last 10 years of my life with the kids at home, dog, Gary, this, that. And I would be there going, I just want 5 minutes to myself.
Yeah.
I just want life was so busy. You're like at the hub of everything. And now I've got a house of my own, and I was sitting in it on my own, and I just suddenly had this real feeling of...
I'm on my own.
I'm on my own. And do I feel lonely? Am I actually having a moment where I feel lonely? Because that's not an emotion I particularly ever, had, to be fair. And then I thought, no, I don't feel lonely, but I am alone. And I think a lot of people muddle up being alone with being lonely. Do you ever feel lonely?
No, I don't actually. I'm loving it at the moment. I guess because the life we lead is all about people and, and I'm away from home 2 or 3 times a week to stay down here for the show. And so you're constantly with people. Then I've got a big family. Then I've got quite a busy, small farm to run when I'm at home. So when I then go into my little cottage and all of a sudden I'm there, it's like... I just love that piece for a while. But I know what you mean, because there's also that element of I'm not lonely, but I am actually alone. Like everyone's having their own life. And I guess you start thinking about how's that going to be, touch wood if I'm still here, as you get older.
Yeah.
How you're going to feel. But I'm always been a bit of a loner, really.
Yeah, it's
like
weird,
my
isn't it?
sisters
'Cause
can't be
you're
alone.
such a big family.
Yeah, but a lot of my sisters, especially my sister Maureen, she cannot be on her own for an hour. She would have someone there 24/7, whether it's just one of us or the kids or whatever. So she hates being alone. And I don't know whether it's because I spent more time alone when I was younger, because I was too young to go off on tour with them in the early days. So they'd all go off and I'd just be, I don't mean I was left home alone.
No.
Not Macaulay Culkin. But I think I got more of an independence from a very young age.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of my friends who are single, they get fed up with people saying, oh, you know, do you want to find somebody? Are you lonely? And they're like, no, I enjoy solitude. But there are also a lot of people I know who are single and don't like being single because they want to be part of a relationship. And I see some friends who are, I think, in relationships that maybe aren't right for them just because they don't want to be on their own. Do you think you would ever?
Oh, so they're settling. No, so my big worry when I knew my marriage, mine and Ray's marriage was kind of coming to an end, really. A natural end, to be honest. There was a part of me, and I think there definitely was with him, where I remember saying to him, why don't you want us to split up? Because we were like lodgers in the same house. And he was like, well, that's what happens when you're with someone for a long time. And I can't be asked. I was going to swear, but I won't swear. You can't be bothered, the hassle of it. And instantly I thought, I'm not settling just because I'm in my mid-50s and people think I should.
Yeah.
In fact, I find it quite exciting to end up being on my own and kind of starting again and being independent. But I definitely would never settle. I'd seen too many people, and especially back in the day, actually, like my mum's era, definitely never left.
Well, they would never have left in the first place. They
never have left. So no, I couldn't. It was never. Oh, if I leave though, I'm going to be on my own. But I do understand why it can be scary, especially for if you don't know your marriage is ending. You know, for a lot of women, they find out in their mid-50s or 60s, whatever, and their husband.
And then the rug is literally.
Then that's scary because your life plans and goals completely change overnight. What you thought you were going to end up with, or how your life was going to be. But that happened to me as well when my first marriage broke up, because I was younger then. I was like early 30s, and I remember then thinking, oh, I didn't plan for this. I found it harder then. But the second time I thought, okay, I can be fine on my own.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of excited about the future, but I'm also... Yeah, because also I think because my kids are older now, so they don't live with me. So I haven't got somebody sort of coming in and out of the house. It's just me. One of the things I've noticed I've started to do is I'm talking to myself, which is what my mum used to do. And
are you boring yourself?
Well, any day now I feel I will be. But I've found myself sort of saying things out loud just to hear a voice. Does that make sense? It sounds a bit weird, but
it sounds like.
But then I don't have a television at the moment, so that's probably half.
Have you not?
No, I
I
haven't got round to getting one put in yet. So
what do you do? Just listen to music?
I just stare at the wall.
Have you got nothing going on? You must have.
I've got a radio.
Got a radio, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I it's sad, isn't it? It doesn't feel quite like home yet because I haven't got a TV in.
Yeah, you need to sort all that out.
And I've got loads of friends, and part of why I bought my house off the high street where I live is my thinking is that when my friends are doing their shopping there, they might go, oh, there's Jane's house, I'll just pop in and have a cup of tea.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I live out in the country because I know I'm too far for anyone to pop in. It's terrible, isn't it? I don't mean I'm not as bad as Janet. Janet, there is, I would assume around her house, some kind of electric wiring that you can't get near a front door. I'm not as bad as that. But I think because again, the job I do and the job we do is all about constantly speaking. When I get home, I don't want to speak.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have days like that for sure.
I just don't want to speak to people.
It's just like if there's a weekend coming up where I didn't have any plans, and then I said to my kids, and I don't ever want to be with my kids, oh, what are you doing this weekend? And can I, because I don't want to be that where they feel that they've got to look after me. And I thought, oh, there's a whole week. So I just made a plan. I thought, okay, I need to not wait for people to come to me. I need to say to somebody, are you around? Let's go and do something. And people were, and so I've got plans. But I hope at some point I will get to the point where I will just sit in the space of my new house. I think it's because it's new to me. I'm still feeling a bit like,
it's all very new, yeah.
Is this mine? But what about when you get older? Do you worry about if you're on your own that you might become a burden to your kids? Because there's less for them to worry about if you're with a partner, right?
I guess does anyone like the thought of ending up being a burden to their kids? Yeah, I dread that, and I hope I'm not a burden to them, or I can make... my ideal scenario would be that if ever I get to a point where I need 24-hour care or whatever, I'll move into the annex where Kira is, and she can have the house with, Max, and hopefully if she's got kids and all that. But yeah, you don't want to be a burden. But I mean, I don't think I will be, because they're all looking at homes now to get me into. They're all like, yeah, you can sort off. I'm not being a burden to you.
Sunny Pines for the bewildered.
Should we
You'll
go
fit
together?
in very nicely.
Should we go together?
Yeah.
So, on the subject of relationships, and because yours is quite new, really, isn't it? Quite fresh.
What relationship? I'm not having one.
No, but single. Like,
I see.
if
Right.
you
I thought you were telling me I was having a relationship. I was thinking, where is he?
I might have one set up for you. No, I haven't. No, if you have a relationship again, and I know it's probably too soon to even think about that, considering you haven't even unpacked boxes.
I haven't even got a telly yet.
And you haven't got a telly. If it comes to that, have you thought about, I wonder if I could get naked again or something? Because I know it's a really big worry.
You're right
for
in
so
there with
many
that
people.
question, aren't you?
You've got to be straight in.
I hadn't thought about it, but I am now. Thanks for that.
Well, do you know what? My sister insulted me so much, because obviously I have dated again since, my last divorce. And I wasn't really concerned, because I thought, if it happens, it happens, and it'll all happen naturally, and you'll both be, it won't be, tonight we're going to do this, and so I'm going to take my clothes off. I just thought it'll happen, and when it happens. And my sister went, after it had happened, Maureen again, I'm going to kill this girl. She went, oh God, I really admire you. So I said, why? And she went, well, there you are, you're having sex again, and you don't care about all your wobbly bits and your blemishes, or I went, well, thanks, Maureen. I didn't really think about it at the time, but now you mention it,
That's good that you didn't think about it, though.
I didn't, but she has. She's dated, but she won't do that.
Did you
again.
have the lights on?
I can't remember, to be honest. Yeah, I think we did.
I mean, I don't. I suppose now you've asked me
If
that
I looked
question.
like you, I'd be walking around naked anyway.
Shush, honestly.
You look fabulous.
Now you've asked me that question. I don't really know, because I'm thinking the last time I had sex with somebody new, i.e. Gary, was 22, 23 years ago when we met, which is a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe if it was somebody either my age or a bit older, it wouldn't really bother me, because I would think, well, what I'm about to encounter is probably the same as, we've all got bits and bobs that are a bit saggier and a bit wrinklier,
Yeah.
but that's probably why I wouldn't date somebody younger.
Well, I wouldn't.
Because I would be thinking, oh gosh, are they going to look better than
I
me?
would just... So when I went on the dating apps, obviously you can put your age range of what you're looking for in. And I think the most it went up to was like 10 years younger, but 5 years younger, I think. And I thought, I can't go younger than that, because I will feel old.
And is that because of the physical thing?
I think it's a physical thing and the mental thing. I just
Yeah.
thought I will feel old.
Yeah.
Like if they say one thing, or I mention someone that they go, who's that?
Yeah, if you go, I really like Donny Osmond,
Yeah,
and they go,
who? That would make me feel ancient. Or we're all going clubbing on Saturday, and I'd be thinking, oh yeah, what a lovely time. I just didn't.
Mind you, you were like that when you were 21.
I've always been like that. To be honest, I'd rather stay in. But yeah, so that put me off, and definitely sexually. I think if they'd been a lot younger, I'd have thought, no, I can't.
Yeah.
But that's my own insecurities, because a lot of women and men do date younger, and they love each other and they fancy each other. So that, I think that's from my own insecurity, not necessarily a younger person. But I think it is daunting for a lot of people. And I found out it's daunting for men. Who knew?
How did you find that out?
So when I was dating on the dating apps, and I'd go out on a few dates, and you get talking about everything, and sex obviously comes up, and I say, it's hard, with being a woman, because you're always worried about, or you've got flabby arms now, or a belly, or because you've had kids or whatever, and each one of them at the time said, do you not think men worry about it? And I was like, no, I don't think they do. And obviously they were the same age as me, so they were all going, what, you don't think I compare myself to 30, like when I was 30 or 40?
Yeah, I suppose they would, yeah.
Yeah, he said, like, I could show you pictures now where I've got, a six-pack or a flat stomach, and now I've got a bit of a dad belly, or, and I never thought that men did.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? And I actually think, in a way, even though we are the age that we are, and obviously, our bodies have aged along with us, I actually think we're quite lucky because we're still, when it comes to it, we're having physical relationships with men who grew up at the same time that we did, and we're not competing with this porn thing that a lot of young kids are having to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ideal now that's put out there of sex and how it should
around
be.
when we were younger.
No, but it wasn't that sort of. Do you remember the book The Joy of Sex?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I think it was around in the 70s, and it showed you all these different positions because someone at school had a copy of it that they'd nicked from under their parents' bed, and the guy had like really long, shaggy 70s hair with a great big bushy beard.
I didn't read it. Did you?
Well, no, we were looking at the pictures.
Oh,
But I mean, that was as explicit as it got. And it was very much about saying to men, this is how you pleasure a woman. Whereas I feel now with porn, it's just all about how can the woman pleasure the man. And I'm glad that I never had to contend with that. And if I go back into dating and having sex with somebody again, that I would be doing it with somebody that is also from back in the day, if that makes sense.
Well, can I just say that as someone who has ventured back into that world, I find it actually, as much as I'm going, you worry about these bits, I actually didn't, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I actually had more confidence at this age than I did in my 20s.
Yeah, that's great.
Because in my 20s, when I was 4, sizes smaller or whatever, and you're fit and everything's where it should be, I think I was more conscious then. Whereas now, I'm very much like, look, this is it. This is me, as the song goes, and I felt much more confident. And I didn't. And if he'd have, or whoever it was had ever gone, got that. I just gone. Do you know what? Might get out.
Well, exactly. But how much? I'm interested. Because you said very casually there, I was on the dating apps and I went out on a few dates. How much emphasis do you still place on physical attraction? Is that still very much, because like when I was young, it would be like, well, do I find them physically attractive? And if I don't, then that's probably not going to work out for me. And I don't know how I think
it's really difficult to say because obviously when you first see someone, your first look is the physical side of it.
Yeah.
However, if I look at someone and think, oh, physically it's not for me or whatever, but then we sit down and we have a fantastic dinner and I am
and he makes you
laughing.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I will fancy him.
Yeah.
So if I, whereas when you're younger, you go, oh, I'm not going near him, I don't fancy him. It is still very much personality.
So give it a chance.
Yeah, absolutely give it a chance. Yeah. Because there was a couple that I turned up and, I'd think, oh. But yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if I'd do it again.
Well, if the time ever comes, I know who to come to for advice.
Yes, for advice. I don't know if I'd do it again. I can't be bothered.
Well, we're going to take a break now. We will see you after this. Welcome back. Now, I saw you hobbling a bit earlier.
I was.
And you've got that...
Got my leg brace on.
Leg brace. So what have you done? What's going on?
So last year, my rescued Labrador from Macedonia got very excited. Her and the boxer. I was in a field with them and, they race around. I'm casually walking. Didn't see them come up behind me full pelt and she just wiped me out up in the air. Knew I'd done something.
Instant pain?
Yeah. It was just, that's not good. When you fall, and then I got up and thought, oh, that's hurting. Anyway, basically, long story short, tore my meniscus. I would like to say I got it playing football or some kind of sport, but no, the dog took me out. And then just in the last few months, it's got really, really bad again. I'm having physio and I have to wear this leg brace to support it. It's really, really painful. But here's the thing. This is quite a common injury when people fall, whatever age you are. Footballers, it's very, common with. But now I get people going, oh, what have you done? What have you done? And I tell them and they go, oh, it's not easy getting old, is it? All the time. And I want to go, it's nothing to do with my age. That could have happened when I was 20. It's like every ailment you get now, it's because of your age.
Yeah.
I almost feel them walking away going, she's had a fall.
That's what I was about to say. They probably thought you'd had a fall. We'll send you off to the fall clinic. Yeah, there's such a thing, right?
The fall
There's a
clinic.
fall clinic which
No.
they send people to if they've had a couple of falls to teach you
How
how
to
not
balance.
to fall and how to avoid falling, i.e. don't have rugs in your house, all that sort of stuff. Loads of tips.
For a 1-year-old.
So we're going to come and de-rug your house.
No. Well, why don't someone come and train the dog?
Dog. The dog wasn't really the dog.
It was the dog. Full pelt. She's big as well. Big.
But I'm
proper
laughing.
dog.
But you are in a lot of pain, aren't
No,
you?
I am.
Yeah. And how is it affecting your daily life then?
It's just, it's constant, isn't it? And I'm trying not to limp because it looks awful, but I have to limp because if I don't limp, it hurts even more. It won't let me not limp. So everything's a bit of an effort at the moment. And although I say age about that particular injury, one thing I have noticed with age and menopause, I look everything up. Is this menopause or is this me? Is another ailment from age is insomnia.
Right.
I'm really suffering.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who could literally sleep through.
Standing up.
Yeah. I mean, I could sleep anywhere.
Literally up to the
And
menopause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right up to it. I could sleep anywhere. And funnily enough, I still can during the day. Like when I get the train to London or home, I sleep all the way. In a car, I'm known for just
when you get into
asleep.
bed.
I literally get into bed and my brain goes, you're not
And
sleeping.
you're not on HRT, are you?
No.
Because obviously that's one of the big symptoms of menopause is insomnia and restlessness and stuff like that. But usually when you take HRT, that is supposed to sort of help sort it out a bit.
Well, I'm scared of taking it because originally, when I started the menopause, they wouldn't put me on it because of the cancer in the family and it's to do with estrogen and stuff like that. So they didn't recommend it. So I was very much like, no, I'd rather be awake. But it's really debilitating, insomnia, really. Because with this, I can take painkillers.
Does that ache at
You know,
night?
But I mean, I can take strong painkillers and I ice it. But when insomnia, there's nothing you can do. I fall asleep for a really solid hour and then boom, I'm awake.
So when you wake
I'm
up,
tired.
what do you... Is it just that your brain just starts...
Just restless sleep and then I'm just awake. But equally, I feel tired.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 a.m. and you shouldn't be awake and the whole world's asleep.
It's funny because I was getting divorced and I was moving house, I got terrible insomnia because I think I just had so many
much on your
to-do
brain,
lists.
yeah.
And it was like it was like having a washing machine going on inside my head. And I would get up for my little wee that you have to get up for. Most women of our age get up for a wee in the middle of the night.
We're not selling ourselves here on a dating app, are we? I've got a dodgy knee. We both wet ourselves and we can't sleep.
Jane
Brilliant.
Moore, 62, nearly 63, only gets up for a wee twice a night. Brackets,
swipe right.
currently, close brackets.
Please swipe quickly.
But
or
as
we
soon as
may
I would
wait.
get up, obviously because you're then awake, because you've got to go to the loo, then the brain would start. And then I'd be going, I've got to stop thinking about this.
And especially when you know you've got
stupid
your
stuff.
family.
Stupid
Stuff.
stuff.
There's nothing you can
But
do.
I used to, like when people used to talk to me about being an insomniac, I used to think, oh, how hard is it? Because I was, like you, I was a great
Such a great
sleeper. And I used
sleeper,
to think, well, just go to sleep.
I took the mick out my sister. My sister Denise, her whole life, well, as far back as I can remember, has always suffered with insomnia, even when she was younger. And used to really wind me up. Because then she'd do things like she'd fall asleep during the day, like watching a film, and I'd go, well, no wonder you can't sleep at night, because you're sleeping in the day. Well, she was sleeping in the day because she had no sleep at night. So it was a vicious circle. And now she doesn't even nap in the day. But I actually phoned her up after a couple of months of suffering with it and said, I apologise for all the years I didn't take that seriously. Because it was so alien to me not being able to sleep at night.
I mean, there's so many people on sleeping tablets now, and that's why. But in a way, I mean, I've taken sleeping tablets on a flight before, like a really long haul flight where I thought, okay, I'm going to take a sleeping tablet just to sort of get rid of some hours. And it's like a chemical kosh. So it's not really, you're not getting natural sleep. You know, there's nothing better that is there for your body than being able to just fall asleep naturally and wake up when you've had enough rest. But these tablets, it's literally like you'd be chattering away 1 minute and then it's just like timber.
Gone. Yeah.
So I just don't feel that's particularly healthy.
No, well, I don't think anything that's kind of forced is particularly... Now, here's the thing. Do you think... Because we are doing it now, and I've just pointed out, haven't I? Oh my God, we're not selling ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think it is unattractive to talk about your ailments? Like, I wouldn't like to go on a date and sit there and go, well, I've got a bad knee and I've got...
Definitely not on a date. You shouldn't on a date. I think if you're in a long-term relationship, you've got every right to sort of say, I'm in pain or da-da.
Yeah, but if
not
someone
all the
keeps
time.
moaning, like if it was a guy that kept moaning, I'd think, oh, shut
Yeah,
up.
no, not all the time. But obviously you have to be able to talk to your other half or your family if you're in it, but not on a date. Oh my God, if someone
No, but
started
I
doing that
find
with
it
me, I'd be
unattractive.
like...
And you know what else I hate? If you are moaning about something, or he is, you know, oh, well, I've got this and I've got that, and I go, well, you know, shut up.
Was it Oscar Wilde or Mark Twain said the definition of a bore is when you say to someone, how are you, and they tell you?
Yeah, exactly. A question you wish you hadn't asked an hour later when they're still listing their ailments. And then they go, well, you know, we're getting on now. And that's it. I'm like, get out of my life.
I mean, I suppose it's easy to say when, I mean, touch wood, again,
I don't think that's real wood.
the terrible insomnia that I had, do you know what cured it?
What?
Going into the I'm a Celebrity jungle.
No, I've never asked you about that.
I loved it. I loved, like, all I had to do is wake up every morning and, you know, build a fire, go and do whatever, you know, pick up some logs. I had no to-do list going in my head and fresh air, and it was like being in a meditation app. My bed was right next to the creek, so I had this sort of like water go, and it rained a lot.
It did.
It was the wettest one on record.
Shocking.
But you had your sleeping bag, and you had your sleeping bag would go inside a tarpaulin thing that came over your head. So it was a bit like, you know, when you were a kid being in a caravan with the rain on the roof. It just knocked me out. And production said to me after the show, they said to me, because obviously they monitor everything we do, they said, you know, one night you slept 9 hours and 50 minutes.
That would be bliss.
And I was like, what? I haven't slept that much since I was about 12.
I was thinking, God, I wonder what made her do it. Now, when you see a lot of, I don't know, men going in there, you think, oh, they're having a midlife crisis. We're having a midlife crisis. Is that why you did it?
There might have been an element of that. I think it was more of a midlife shift. Have you had a midlife crisis, do you think,
I've
at
had a
all?
midlife crisis. Well, I don't know if I've had a midlife crisis or an empty nest crisis.
Yeah, that's...
And I think my empty nest, that was the worst time for me, when all my kids all of a sudden were moving out. They've all got their life partners or whatever. That was one time where I thought, oh,
that was
God,
a big shift.
Now I'm on my own.
Yeah. And
I think that's why I've ended up with a small holding with 30 animals. And so does my therapist.
There's nothing small about your holding.
Anyway, there's a lot to hold, Jane Moore, let me tell you. But yes, and actually, since I've started my therapy, because I'm having therapy now.
And what made you start having therapy? Was it any particular thing?
I think my relationship to Michael, I realised when we actually started living together that I didn't want to live with anyone. So having to tell him that and go through another breakup was hard. And then in the middle of all that, Linda passed away. Which, although I've said before, you know, Linda had her cancer for 20 years, but I still thought we'd get that moment where they'd say to her, there's nothing more we can do and you've got 6 months, and we could just have that time and blah, blah, blah. But it didn't. She got pneumonia, and the pneumonia killed her, and it was so quick. That was shocking. Just loads of things happened at once. I had some of my animals started to die for various reasons, all at the same time. And then my brother phoned me the day after the funeral and said, I've just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I just got to a point where I was putting on this, because I still had to work, you know, you still got to pay bills, you know, the mortgage people don't care. And I was all very, it's fine. And inside I was thinking, I am so lost and I am so overwhelmed. And I've completely lost my mojo for anything. I didn't want to do anything. I literally wanted to just sit in the house, shut the doors, and just tell the world to leave me alone. Everyone, though. Even, like, my kids would walk in and I'd put on this app. I'm thinking, just leave me alone. And all of a sudden I thought, I can either drown in this or I can admit that I need professional help. And so I found professional help. First one wasn't for me. Second one's been brilliant, ongoing. And, I found out a lot about myself, because I did keep thinking, why am I keep buying? I mean, I've always wanted a farm and I've always loved animals. But I mean, there were so many, and I think some of it is because once again I'm with things like my children that when they were young they need me.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would relate to that though.
Yeah. So I just can't imagine just sitting in a place on my own with nothing, no telly.
No telly.
No telly.
Shocking.
Boxes,
I'm honestly.
like nothing. That must be awful. Don't
Pray
want to
for
depress
me.
you. I'm praying for you.
But it's interesting because I'm thinking you're quite old school like me, and I think you're somebody that you think I don't want to burden people.
Well, that was it. I didn't.
So you think I'm quite happy to burden a stranger because that's their job. And you're an agony aunt as well.
100%.
So you know the value of it.
100%. You don't want to... And also, a stranger hasn't got preconceived ideas about you. They don't know about you. They don't know what your relationships were, or they're not judgmental, and all they are is logical.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't ever... You know, I didn't want to put my kids through. When Linda died, obviously I did, because one minute I'd be sobbing, and then I'd pull it together and Kira would be sobbing, because we were all going through it. Mm. But then on top of that, you don't want to put anything like, I'm completely lost here, guys, and I need help.
Good for you.
Anyway, that's gone.
And you're still doing it now?
I'm doing it right this minute with you. No, I am. And I've not been able to see him for the last 4 weeks because of work. I think it's next week or the week after I'm back seeing him. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's great.
And people go, well, what does he say? And I go, do you know what?
Is it online?
No, it's face-to-face. I'd rather face-to-face.
Yeah.
The first one I did was online. I didn't leak it. And also in my house, there's too many.
Yeah.
The dog would bark or the cat would jump on my head. And it was like, I can't concentrate.
Yeah.
So for me, face-to-face was great. And people go, oh, well, what's he saying that's made you feel so good? And I said, you know what? 9 times out of 10, he doesn't say anything.
Well, a good thing, most of it is about getting you to talk in a way that you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just walk off and think, okay. Or he'll say something that I go, oh yeah, I never thought of it like that. And then I go away and think about it and it makes sense. Nothing made sense all of a sudden. And I just didn't know how to filter it.
You definitely seem lighter than
Definitely,
you
because I know that
year.
On the days when I'm not, I'm going back to see him. So, and I didn't want to self-medicate. And I didn't want to take antidepressants. I didn't want anything to just dull it. I just thought, I need to just let this out. I need to go and speak to someone.
Now we just need to find someone to sort out your knee.
Oh, I know.
Right, we're going to take a little break now. We will see you after this. Welcome back.
We're having a good time, aren't we?
We are.
We are. And if you are, please don't forget to subscribe and follow us, as well as rate us. It's all free and means you won't miss a single episode. So just get on there, click that button, whichever button you need to click.
Absolutely.
See, I sold it.
You did.
Sold it.
Very good. So we're going to do our loose ends bit now.
Yes.
So this is where we get to ask each other a question that we've always wanted to ask.
Yeah. Can I go first? I'm excited.
I'm nervous. Go on.
Don't be nervous, actually. It's quite sensible for me, this.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay then.
No, it is. So, I've always seen you, right, as the sensible kind of, just someone I could go to with anything, like, which is great. But I just wonder, because I've never seen it in all the years I've known you. I've never seen you cry. I've never seen you lose it or have a temper tantrum or any kind of just letting it all out. And I know you've gone through a lot. I know you've gone through most of what we've all gone through in life, and even just recently, you know, with your whole marriage split and all of that. And I just wonder, do you ever lose it? Do you ever cry? Do you ever just scream and cry?
I cry in films.
Do you?
Yeah, and it's a weird one. It could be a really obvious... If I feel a film is trying to make me cry, I don't cry. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But, you know, like, I don't know, if it's like sickeningly romantic in a very sort of schmaltzy way, I'm literally like this. But it can be something really strange about friendship or an old couple or... where I just suddenly...
Like The Notebook.
The Notebook.
Beaches.
It did make me cry, but not sort of inconsolably.
But do you ever do that?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Not in my life. Only if something triggers it. So I don't
But
do
there's
it.
things in your life that must have triggered you. Like, even if it's on your own, have you never closed the door and just slid down the wall and sobbed your heart out?
No. I think because I process stuff a lot in my head before I even tell anybody anything, I'm always sort of processing and thinking about stuff. So I think I sort of do it, I kind of get it out of my system in that way. And I'm quite good at doing self-therapy as well. So yes, I do cry, but it's in a situation where I'm watching something and something's been triggered.
But then when that triggers it, does it not trigger it for all the ways you've held it in? Does that not trigger it then to just make you sob? Do you ever sob?
No, but so you've had a lot of loss in your life, and I have not had that tested yet, thank goodness. Yeah. My mum is still, it was just me and my mum when I was growing up. My mum's still around, my girls are safe and healthy.
Your dog?
Oh yeah, I cried when my dog died because I was with him where, we had him put down and I stayed with him, and no, I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed.
Oh, good.
So that's a grief thing.
I like that.
But I don't cry about like stuff in my life because I just think, well, I can't do anything about it.
No. And there's some things, like you say, there's some people that cry at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't.
Because my kids worry about me sometimes that I don't cry. I hold it in. But I don't, because they go out and I shut the door and then I'll sob.
Yeah. No, I did. I cried a lot when my dog died, for quite a few days, actually. But no, I mean, I don't know why. I've never ever, I didn't even really cry very much as a kid either. So, but it hasn't really been tested. I think, grief is a different thing.
Grief is different, yeah. But
yeah. Do I lose it in terms of
what about when
temper?
your marriage split up? Did you not cry?
Well, because I think when any marriage splits up, it's over a period of time.
I know, but it's still at the beginning bit.
No, but it's not like he came home and said, okay, the marriage is over, I've met somebody else. That would probably be like a visceral shock that would then maybe elicit tears or I don't know. But when something sort of dies gradually over a period of time, you sort of get used to it. And we just sort of segued into friendship. And I still speak to him all the time.
Yeah, which is nice.
And see him. So it's not like I go, oh, there's this great loss. Because there isn't. I still see quite a bit of him. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I maybe I should cry more. It's there for a reason, isn't it? It's there as a release.
Well, no, you shouldn't if you don't feel you need it. But sometimes I think, do you feel you
I'm just not a crier.
No. I'm going to make you cry.
If you talk about also a release of losing your temper, I don't lose it very often, but when I do, everybody knows, yeah.
Really? Are you a screamer, shouter, or are you just very firm?
I have. I remember once being on we did a Winnebago holiday across America, so it was Gary, me, and the three girls. And we'd had a lovely time, but I had organised everything. I mean, everything. I'd booked the Winnebago, I'd booked the flights, And, Gary would pay for half, but organisation, which I love, I had done all of it. And there'd just been a period or a day where everybody was moaning about something on this holiday. And internally I was thinking, well, you've not organised any of it.
Ungrateful.
You're all here having a lovely time. You're all ungrateful. And I can't remember what it was. We were in a taxi going back to the hotel, and one of them said something, and I hosed all of them down. All of them.
Shouting.
I mean, God knows what the cab driver thought. And they were all like that. Just,
proper shouting.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the last time I lost my temper.
I've never seen you lose your temper.
It's very rare, but when I do, watch out.
I'm running.
Watch out, Coleen Nolan, or whatever you're called.
Nolan.
Nolan.
Kay calls me Coleen Nolan.
Yeah.
Go on then, what's my question?
So my question for you is, back in time. So no such thing as the Nolans. You can't sing.
Well,
you're not in show.
Not changed. Yeah, go on.
You're not in. So no showbiz background whatsoever. What do you think that you would have done for a living if you hadn't done what you did?
Well, I've said it before. When I was very young and at school, whenever I was at school, my aim in life was to be a vet. I wanted to be a vet. Because even back then, I was the only one in the family that just obsessed with animals. So I thought, vet. Then I realised that it's 9 years at uni and you need about 12 A stars.
Chemistry, physics, whatever.
You've got to get A stars.
Yeah.
Thought I only just can possibly write my name quite neatly, so that's not going to work. Then I also worked it out in my brain that I've never met an animal that likes a vet. Like,
yes,
they don't
you'd
like
be
vets.
the one that hurt. Well, not
They'll
hurt,
be the ones that people are
scaring
dragging
them.
in to see, and I
Yeah.
thought, I don't want to hurt them. But when you're a kid, you just think, oh, a vet gets to be with animals.
Gets
you don't
to make
think,
them better.
Yeah. So I thought, no, that's not for me. What would I have been had I have not then been able to join my sisters or whatever? Do you know what? I don't know, but I think my dad always used to say, you need to marry a farmer. You need to be on a farm. Always his thing.
Do you get
But
up
mainly 'cause of
early?
the
You
animal
all right
thing.
with a 5 a.m. start?
I'm much more of an early morning than a,
Yeah, me
The
too.
problem with me is now at the moment I'm doing early morning and quite late.
Have you ever done a
I'm
normal job?
averaging. Yes, I did a normal job for about 9 months. I did it for in a. It was in a health food shop called GNC, which was the American equivalent of like Holland and Barrett type.
Oh, right.
Because both the boys started school. I'd stopped work to be full-time mum, which actually was the hardest job I ever did. Full-time housewife and mum. Shane's
Also.
career had taken off. Then Jake, the youngest, started school. And all of a sudden I'm twiddling thinking, I don't know if I can just sit here every day waiting for them to come home from school. So I got my first proper job. And I used to put my pink payslip on the fridge. And they were all lined up. Because it's the first time I'd ever had anything normal. The only thing is, they think you're a doctor in those shops. So I had people coming up telling me their most intimate problems. And I'm going, okay, well, I'm sure there's tablets somewhere along here. One guy came up and went, just very quietly, can I have a word? I said, yeah. And he said, have you got anything for impotence? And I said, yes, I have. He said, really? I said, yeah, me. Nearly got fired.
I was about to say.
No, we both really laughed, and then he was fine then.
But you'd been in the Nolans by then. Did anybody come in thinking,
Loads.
what
so
is
there
Coleen
used to
Nolan
be
doing?
arguments at the door between husbands and wife, and they always think you can't hear when you're a celebrity. So they'd be at the door, and the wife would be going, I'm telling you, that's Coleen Nolan. And the husband would be going, as if she'd be working in a shop in the middle of Uxbridge, because I lived over Middlesex. And I'd have to go over and go, it is me. Yeah, loads of people used to come in and go, it is you, isn't it? Why are you here? And I'd go, because why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And it wasn't for the money. It
wasn't for the money.
just
£3 an hour it was.
Yeah, to
but
just
back in the
like
day.
have something to get you
And
out.
it started at 10 and it finished at 3. So I could drop the boys at school, finish at 3, dash over, pick them up, job done, 5 days a week. Loved it.
Oh.
So I did love it. But then at 9 months, it got to about 9 months and I thought, I'm bored now. Because the music drove me mad. It was like that whale music, whales mating. And every time the manager walked out, I'd put like Bruno Mars or something on. And then she'd come back to tell me off. And I just got, I can't do this forever.
Yeah.
So I stopped them. But I loved it.
Well, there you are. I never knew that about you.
You see?
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 This is what we do on this podcast. We find out things about each other that we
knew?
didn't know, even though we've worked together for a million years.
Zillion.
Well, that is it for today.
Thank you.
Sadly.
I've loved it.
2 more Loose Women. I know it's been good,
I
isn't it?
really loved
2
it.
more Loose Women will be here on Friday with another podcast.
So if you've got a question you'd like to ask them, please send it to loose.women@ITV.com. And I'm sure they'll answer it. Until then,
Stay loose.